Morning, everybody. I'm trying to be a little bit quiet. It is 1:25 in the morning. I got to get the Boston butt prepped and get it ready to go on the smoker. I got the Z Grill just fired up. We're gonna get it. I think I'm gonna put it on about 225 degrees and let it go till I get back up in the morning. And then we'll crank the heat up just a little bit and try to finish it off for about 2 to 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. This is a big pork butt. Today's June the 29th. I think it's the 29th, 28th, 29th. I think it's 29th. Saturday, and we are going ahead and celebrating our 4th of July. So everybody else is asleep, and I have still got my sinus issues going on. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and get this thing out, and we're gonna get it kind of rinsed off, washed off, patted dry, and we're gonna trim it, make sure it looks good, and we're gonna get it seasoned up and get it on the pit. So let's get this thing done, get it cleaned up, and let's get that smoking going on. All right, I'm trying to get woke up early this morning, y'all. Go ahead and get it patted dry. I just give it a light rinse. We're gonna pat it dry a little bit. I did not have any gloves, which doesn't really bother me. So we're gonna give it a little light pat. I just got some aluminum foil sitting on my cutting board, and we're gonna look at it. Get my glasses on. And we're gonna take a peek, and anything that's too loose, this one actually looks really good. That might burn off. We're gonna get a little bit of it off. I'm gonna take my Coolina and just get some of it off. It's actually trimmed up pretty darn good. I'm not gonna have to do too much to it, but you wanna rinse it and make sure you get that, any of the bone from the saw or anything that may be, the slivers that are on it. And just check it good. I hate to cut this one little flap off because it does lay fine, and it'll be fine. It'll be on the top anyway. So we're gonna score that fat cap. So we're just gonna come in about a half an inch or so on that fat cap. You can get pretty deep with it, at least just on the fat cap, down into that meat a little bit. And we're gonna just do like a cross hatch. Make it nice and pretty. Then we're gonna just give it a little twist, and just go ahead and come back that other way. And we're just opening up that fat. Let some of that seasoning get down into that meat. I'm just going to be using, you can use a mustard. I've seen people use mayonnaise for a binder. We're just going to be using an oil. We're just going to use a little light olive oil is all we're going to do. So we're going to hit it with that olive oil a little bit, and then we're going to go ahead and get this thing seasoned up. Wait for the Z Grill to get up to 225, and then we're going to get it on, and we're going to go back to night-night. All right, so we're just gonna lightly hit it with a little olive oil, and we're just gonna rub it in. Get that olive oil. You can get it down into them grooves if you want. Make sure that it kind of gets wherever it needs to be. So it'll hold that seasoning in really good. We're not gonna. I just put it on you. Just put it on your hand. You're just trying to get something to bind to help hold that. Help hold that seasoning in place. But just give it a good massage. Give it a good massage. Get that olive oil on there, and we're gonna get it flipped back over. I'm gonna use my knife on this end. It is sticking to my aluminum foil. And now we're gonna go ahead and start putting our seasoning. I'm gonna give it I'm gonna be using my mixture of seasoning for a base coat, which is salt, black pepper, granulated onion, granulated garlic. We're gonna be going in with some Kinder's Cowboy Butter, and we're gonna top it off with some Kinder's wood-fired blend. This is going to give it that barbecue taste. Now go ahead and just be generous with everything. This is a 11, almost a 12-pound pork butt, a Boston butt. So it's going to be able to handle a lot of seasoning. So let's just coat it, maybe a little lighter on the first one, but just work up and layer up with whatever is going to work for you. I'm going to cover it good because we want to give it some good bark. We want to let it go. And like I said, it is pretty stout. I mean, it's a pretty stout. Just make sure we coat all the sides of it. And you can marinate them too if you want to. I'm just gonna have to use rag and then wipe off all of my, and just go on in there with it. Anything that you get left on that aluminum foil, you could do this in a big pan if you wanted to. I've got some big throwaway pans that I actually probably should have got. But once we get this first coat on it, it's not so sticky. Get that end. All right, so we got a pretty good little first coat. We need to get that patted in. And go ahead, come on in with your second coat. Now this has a lot of bigger seasonings in it, so it's gonna it actually has a good flavor and it smells good. All of their seasonings that has that butter in it, it's just really good. You can see it just coming together. And you're just gonna do this 3 times. Make sure that it get as much as you can just to stick on it. I'm just thinking about how this is gonna taste, y'all. And last but not least, now we're gonna coat this thing in that barbecue, in that Woodfire blend. And it's got a nice red, it's gonna give it a really good bark. We're gonna mash that in, and it has a really pungent barbecue-y smell, with a smoke smell. All right, I moved it to a bigger pan because I was just making a mess like that. So I got one of my big throwaway pans, and we're gonna finish dusting it. And any seasoning that you get in the bottom of this pan, just roll it around on and I'm gonna really be generous with it so we can really give some beautiful, beautiful top color, you know what I mean? That's what we're looking for. I still got some, so if you get seasoning in that bottom, or if it falls off, I'm gonna pat it in and get that some good bark. Then take that seasoning, move it around on the bottom, and just roll it around till we get seasoning all over this thing. And then we're just gonna wipe all of our bottles off. I want some good color. I want to have some wonderful color all over, and I think we're good. I just bumped the Z Grill up to 225, and we're fixing to get ready to go put it on. And we're gonna let it do its thing all night. Oh my goodness, it smells really, really good. And we're gonna let it smoke at 225 for, if I get it on at 2 o'clock, we're gonna let it go for probably 7 hours, and then we'll check for temp. And we're not gonna pull it until it gets to about 180, somewhere between 170 and 190, but 170, 180 degrees. Then we'll pull it, wrap it, put our butter, put our sweetness on it, probably a little bit of honey, a little brown sugar, wrap it back up and put it on the pit in one of the, maybe the big 10, I don't know, so it can catch all those juices, so we can get it all really nice and moist and tender. So let's get this thing on the smoker. All right, y'all, I know it might be hard to see out here because I just have the patio lights on. Z Grill's at 225. we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get the, we're gonna put it on about, I think I'm gonna just put it on in the middle. So we're gonna go on with this pretty bad boy thing. I may take that center, that little grill part out and set it off to the side though, because I don't really need it in there with that big piece of meat. So we'll see you in about 7 hours. All right, y'all, I opted to, as you can see, it's at 225. I'm holding good and steady at 225. If you can see it, we got the hopper full. I do have a mixture of pellets in there. We got one set of pellets that's a charcoal flavor, and we've got another set that is a mixture of hickory, oak. I'm gonna pull this this top shelf out. We don't need it. I just wanted to pull that top shelf out, and then we're gonna get this thing closed up, and we're gonna let her go. And everything should be good to go, and we should be able to check for temp at 170 to 180, hopefully in about 7 hours or so. All right, y'all, so we're about 4 hours in, on the Boston butt. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna probe it. We're gonna go ahead and stick one of the Z Grill probes in so we can start reading some temperatures, take a peek at it. So I'm just gonna get one. I don't need them both. And we're gonna try to go ahead and see what our temp is after 4 hours. See what it looks like. Oh, it's starting to get some little bark on it. And we're gonna probably up that temperature a little bit. I'm gonna run it in there by that bone pretty far. I'm gonna try to see if I can get it to go pretty deep in there, where we can get into that middle and we can see what we're running. And right now we're at about 130. I'm going to go ahead and up the temperature to 275. So we're gonna speed things up. Well, I'm gonna go to 250. Let's go to 250. Get it at 250, and let's see how we can get it to go. I need it to be ready by at least 2 o'clock. Yeah, it's looking good. It's looking real good, y'all. All right, y'all. We're coming out here to check on it. It's actually at 154, showing 154 internal. We're almost at about 6 hours. I'm gonna spritz it with a little bit of apple juice. Oh my goodness. So we're just gonna spritz with a little apple juice on the bottle, with a bottle, so we can help keep it a little moist. You know, I don't have a little spray bottle, so I'm just gonna kind of spritz a little bit. It's probably gonna cool it down just a little, but just try to get your sides. A little dab will do you, and that way it doesn't quite dry out so much. It smells amazing, y'all. Woo! So hopefully in another couple of hours, we'll be up to our 170, where we can go ahead and get it in a pan, and we can get it pulled, get it wrapped, get some more apple juice in that bottom a little bit, get them juices flowing, so that way when we make the pulled pork, we can get that and it be super, super moist. So we'll be back to check on it, and we are gonna probably up the temperature again to 275 after it's been on for the full 7-8 hours, and then we're going to up just a little bit more, probably to 275, to try to get it finished off. All right, so we got it pulled off the Z Grill, off the smoker at about 7.5 hours. It's 170 degrees internal. So now we're going to get ready to wrap it up. I'm just going to put it in the pan because I want to keep those juices, and we're going to cover it with 2 layers of foil so we don't so we can keep in all that moisture. I am gonna put a little bit more apple juice on, just on the outside of that bark. We're not gonna go crazy. That'll start some of the juice in the bottom. So just kind of, I don't have a spritz bottle, I just got a squirt bottle. So we're just gonna put a little bit of that apple juice going. And we're gonna take our, I'm gonna use a hot honey, and we're gonna use some brown sugar. So this is a hot honey that I bought at our farmer's market the other day. And so we're gonna get a little bit of that sweet and a little bit of that heat. from this hot honey. I'm not going to put a lot of it. We're just going to kind of drizzle the hot honey, you know, over it. Let that bring in a little bit of that sweetness and a little bit of that heat. Just like so. And we're also going to put, this thing smells so good, y'all. And I mean so good. So I'm just going to leave this sitting on the lid so I can clean that up. And we're going to take some brown sugar. And we're just, I don't know how much I'm going to get. I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of brown sugar to get that sweet. I'm not doing any barbecue sauce or anything. I'm just going to use my hands, and I'm going to get some brown sugar going on the top before we get it wrapped up. It's not, you don't need a whole lot of this, just a little bit, because it's all going to get mixed up in with it. And we're going to go in with our pats of butter. This is very, very soft butter that we had laying out. You know, we leave our butter out, so we're going to put some pats of butter. This is all going to wind up down in the bottom in that juice of that goodness, all into that meat. Doesn't take that many. So now we're going to get it wrapped up and back on the smoker until we reach an internal temperature of, I don't know, I think I'm going to pull it around just over 200, or I don't want to really go any more than 205. I really don't. But we're going to wrap it up tight. Keep all of that steam in. I would have did it in the bigger pan, but I'm going to be putting some baked beans on there cooking as well later on this afternoon. So we're just going to get it nice and tight right now. And back on the smoker until we reach that internal temperature somewhere between 200 and 207. I don't know if I want to go the full 207, but we might. We'll check for tenderness and we'll probe it with the ThermoPro instead of using just the Z Grill probe. So back on the smoker, and we'll see you in a bit when we check it again. Take two. We're gonna check it again for temp, y'all. I didn't have the mics on, but it's about average, about 200, and right there is 205. Right here is like butter. It's about 205 there. It's a little tight back here in the back. And it's still a little bit more. It's about 208 there. 20, about 206. So because it's a little tight on that back, we're gonna leave it about 15 more minutes. I upped the temp to 275 since we got the baked beans on. And then we're gonna pull it and we're gonna just put it in the little cooler right here, set it aside, and give it a couple of hours or hour and a half before I start to shred it up. All right, y'all, we got it off the pit. We're gonna go ahead and get it out and we're gonna shred it. We're gonna take a peek. It's actually got juice. Oh, it's gonna make a mess because it's got juice. It's in the ice chest, and we're gonna move it from this one to this one. That is the timer. So we've been cooking about 12 hours. So about 12 hours and we're good. Everybody's here. It's probably gonna be too hot for me to shred with my hands, but we're gonna get it open and we're gonna go ahead and take a look at it. It's got plenty of juice. Oh, it's almost full of juice. That's why it was spilling. So I'm gonna have to clean up for sure. And I know good and well that it's gonna be good. So I don't know how, I gotta figure out how we're gonna get this out. You got it?
Yeah, wash it.
All right, let me wash my hands. It's hot. I need some shredders. I actually need some shredders, which I don't have since it's been sitting in the ice chest. It's still really hot, and I mean really hot. So we're gonna have to probably take a couple of forks and see if we can start to shred up like that. Now we're gonna go ahead and pull the bone, and there it is. Can't get much cleaner than that, y'all. We got plenty of juice to pour on. We're gonna set the bone aside. If the bone wasn't hot, you could use the bone, but the problem with that is the fat cap's still on the bottom. So we've got to figure out, we got to get that fat cap off. So We may have to let it cool a little bit before, y'all. Look raw. So let's let it cool a little bit before I actually shred it. And then I can put my hands in there and I can kind of get this thing really shredded good. All right, y'all, so we're gonna get the fat cap off. We're gonna get as much of the fat cap off as we can. It's still kind of hot. It's not terrible. And my wife said that, look, the dogs will like that. So he'll get some of it. So we're gonna get some of the fat cap without pulling too much of the meat. I'm gonna have to get, and it's okay if we leave some of the fat. I'm all right with it. I just don't wanna leave too much. Now we have company here. If y'all start hearing any noise, we got grandbabies. So everybody's here. That's Scarlett. That's my granddaughter. One of my granddaughters. She's one. She don't know no better. So we good. So I think we got a little bit of fat here. And we got a little bit of fat cap here. So I'm just taking a fork and I'm just getting what I have to. Only what I have to, y'all. Everything else, I think I'm okay with a little bit of fat. And we're just going to start. The bone is already out. You can see it smoking. And we're going to start pulling apart. It doesn't have to be, ooh, it's still hot. It's still a little too hot. It really is. Sure. It needs to cool down a little bit. I don't have any gloves that would help me anyway. But we've got a little bit more fat here. Let's see if I can do how much I can do with shredding it with the forks, or the fork. And then we're going to add in some of the juice. Hot, y'all, hot. I'm kind of rushing it because my wife said everybody was hungry. So we're going to just make sure that we're shredding enough that everybody can make their sandwiches. It smells amazing, y'all.
I think that's good.
No. I want it to be chunky. A piece just fell in, and we're going to add in some of the juice. Going to add in some of the juice back there behind it. We're leaving all the bark on there. What are you doing, girl? What are you doing, girl? And we've got a little fat. There's a little fat inside. Now remember, we pulled this thing at like, let me get a paper towel. Oh, please. Oh, please. We're going to add in a little bit of juice. I need to put this up. What are you doing, girl? Now, I don't have a separator, so we're just going to add in the juice, the fat, and all. Add what we need to get it to where we got enough. I'll have to clean that's just a piece of fat. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to add in a little bit more seasoning. Because you know that seasoning is only on the outside. It does not really get in the inside. I'm going to put some of the cowboy butter. And we're going to put some of the wood-fired blend from the Kinders. I don't like doing that with the shaker. And then we're going to stir it up, and I'm going to let everybody put their own barbecue. I got my barbecue homemade, and they got their barbecue sauce with the Sweet Baby Ray's. If it was cool enough, I could really put my hands in here and get it kind of, you know, get everything mixed up really good. But we're just going to have to make do with what we got. And it smells really good. I'm going to let my wife and my daughters right there, I'm going to let them taste. I done dropped it on the bar. I'm going to add in a little bit more juice. So we're going to add, I'm going to add all the juice. We're just going to add it all. I don't have a separator, so we're just going to add it all. That way it'll be just as moist and juicy as anybody wants it. Now they can add in their barbecue or more seasoning or whatever they want. Now we've got to try. Here's a piece of that bark. We've got to try it, y'all.
Oh, I want a piece of bark.
So that's it. Almost 12 hours on the Z Grill. Absolutely wonderful, y'all. About 11.8 pounds Boston butt. Give it a try. Go back and watch the video and watch everything that I did. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give us a thumbs up. Share it with your family and friends. I appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit that bell notification button so you'll get notified whenever we got a new video coming out on our With the Bickhams channel. I'm Craig with the Bickhams. We'll see you on the next video. Bye, y'all.